Okay, so let's go ahead and start some of these examples. It's pretty straightforward. We're going to be looking at this. You are given these equations to find the following values. So check it out. One of the main reasons we like having this type of notation, this f of x, g of x, h of x, r of x, it's because we can put multiple equations up in the same area, and we're able to reference different equations. So an example, in number A, our letter A, you have find r of 2. Well, we're going to be looking for this one right here. Like, that's the equation we're looking for. Check out B. When it says find g of 10, it's telling you to look at this equation right here. So even though it's pretty straightforward, you do have to look for meaning in what this is saying. So this says find r of 2 on A. Are you ready? I'm going to write this down pretty quickly. So I have r of 2 equals, and now I'm going to go through, and everything that is not a letter I'm going to write down. So I have 5. This is an x, that variable. I'm going to replace that with parentheses so I can fill in some stuff, plus 3. Now, what did I plug in? Instead of an x, what did I plug in? I plugged in a 2 right there. So now I'm going to solve this equation. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 gives me 13. So how do you write this equation, this answer? You can write it multiple ways. You can write it r of 2 equals 13. You can write this solution as a point. You can say the solution. You can write it as a point like this, 2 comma 13. That's a terrible 3. You can write it like that, essentially. So there's a couple of ways you can write it, but keep in mind in this case, we plugged in this 2 into our R equation. So let's go ahead and go to B. I'm going to switch to red ink. So B says g of 10. It says g of 10, okay? Look, I want this right here. That's what I'm trying to work on right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug this in. G of 10 equals, I'm going to keep that square root, 2 times, what am I plugging in, y'all? I'm plugging in my 10 right there, minus 4. Now I've got to solve all of this stuff in here. 2 times 10 is 20. So 20 minus 4. And that gives me 20 minus 4 is 16. So the square root of 16. And as we know, is going to be 4 for our answer. So g of 10 equals 4 for our answer. It's actually plus minus 4. It's actually plus minus 4. And so that's what we have for our answer. G of 10 equals plus minus 4. I think that's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and look at C. C says find f of 3. So what is our f of x up here? It's right here. F of x equals this garbage. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that down for my number 3 problem. I'm going to switch back to blue ink. So find f of 3. Here we go. I'm going to plug this in. F of 3 equals, and I'm going to plug in my 3 plus 2 squared minus 14. For those who are wondering where I'm getting this, right up here, at the very top, you can see my equation. I plugged in my x, or my 3 for my x. Again, pretty straightforward. There's nothing really tricky today. This is just an information dump today. So now we end up with having to solve this. We have to do PEMDAS. Don't forget that. PEMDAS is the order. So it's parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So I see parentheses first. So I'm going to solve my parentheses first. I'm going to put that square up there, minus 14. And I end up with, on this one right here, 25 minus 14, which gives me 11. So my answer is f of 3 equals 11. F of 3 equals 11. That's how we find that. H of 11, y'all, it's the same thing. H of 11 is the same thing. So there's our equation for it right up here. This h of x equals 1/2 x plus 21. So let's go down here and look at this. I'm going to write that equation down. I'm going to switch back to red ink. So the equation I'm working with is h of x h of x equals 1/2 times, what was it? 1/2 x plus 21. X plus 21. X plus 21. Doesn't seem that big of a deal. It wants us to plug in the 11, so make sure we do that. I'm going to go ahead and plug in my 11 right now. 1/2 11 plus 21. 11 plus 21. That gives us, what is that? 11 plus 21 is 32. So I have 1/2 times 32. And then 1/2 times 32 is 16. So that comes out to 16 when it's all said and done. So I have h of 11 equals 16. That's pretty much that. Going to the next stuff. Now it's telling us it wants to find if g of x is equal to 8. Find x. Okay, let's go find g of x real quick. What is the equation? It is the square root of 2x minus 4. The square root of 2x minus 4. So g of x equals the square root of 2x minus 4. And it is saying, hey, g of x is equal to 8. Did it say g, like plug in 8 for the x, yada, yada? No, it says this whole thing. It says this entire thing is equal to 8. So what that means is replace that entire thing with 8. Watch. Replace that entire thing with 8. And there you have yourself a much more clear picture of how to do this. How do we get rid of the square root over here on this side, y'all? You basically have to do the opposite. The opposite of square root is squaring. So you are now going to square both sides. You're basically going to square both sides of these. Some of y'all know this, some of y'all do not. That's to get rid of the radical house. 8 squared is 64. And then when you square this, you basically just drop the radical house. Now I'm going to solve this the rest of the way. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. We have 68 now equals to 2x. And then you can divide that 2 out on both sides. And I end up with x equals, what is that, 39? Something like that. No, it's not 39. Is it? No, I'm doing that wrong. It's not 39. Let me do the calculator. Hold up. 34. I don't know how I was getting 39. It's like I've been on break too long myself. So then for f, h of x equals 7. It's the same thing. So I'm going to make sure I have my, what's it called? This copied down. H of x equals 1/2 x plus 21. 1/2 x plus 21. So I'm going to switch my ink. It's blue. 1/2 x 21. 1/2 x plus 21. That is what our h of x equals. Now, it is saying replace this h of x with 7. It says replace this entire thing with 7. So I'm going to replace this entire thing with 7. 1/2 times x plus 21. Now what I got to do is to get rid of this 1/2, I have to multiply by 2 on both sides to get rid of that fraction. So when I multiply by 2 on everything, essentially, I get 14 equals, that cancels out with the 1/2, x plus 21. And this is not new math. This is not part of the lesson. If you don't know how to get rid of these fractions, you are officially behind, and we need to work on this in class. I'll help you whenever you're doing this. So don't panic if you're like, oh my God, he's not teaching us how to do this. Y'all, you're supposed to know how to clear 1/2 from an equation. So I'll teach it to you in class if you don't know what you're doing, but calm down. I can already hear some of y'all. Equals, x equals -7. And but damn, that's it. That's all you had to do. That's basically it. That's the notations for today. We have all day today and tomorrow to basically master this material.